Welcome back for another book review. This was an ebook that I got from the library. It was one I really wanted to read. So normally I'm not a big fan of ebooks. I don't particularly love having to just use my phone to read a book. I get like the numbers just kind of suck. I like to feel as I'm making progress through a book, and just looking at a number just doesn't feel the same. But that's the only option they had, and I wanted to see if it was a good book. So here we are. So this was The Art of Happiness, a handbook of living, and a lot of the reviews were mad about this. But the authors listed are His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Howard C. Cutler. And the thing is, Howard is the one who actually put the book together. He basically interviewed the Dalai Lama for, it seems like a couple years, to be honest. It was a lot of interviewing over various different points in time, and obviously the answers are from the Dalai Lama, but it's from his perspective of interviewing the Dalai Lama and getting an idea of his perspective and kind of comparing it to himself, which I guess is we're into what the book's about, because yeah, he's interviewing the Dalai Lama, so he's coming at it, Howard is coming at this from his point of view as a therapist. I think he's like a psychotherapist, something, mental health dude. And obviously a smart guy in the West, right? Like that's what he does. He treats patients, he treats a variety of mental illnesses, and was curious on the take from the Dalai Lama and how more of an Eastern viewpoint, a Buddhist input, would be on various topics. And that's the premise of this book. It's how someone from the West gets answers to most of the Western and just kind of general human experience things from the Dalai Lama. There's things from different speeches that the Dalai Lama has done, and then also just one-on-one conversations they've had. And the beginning of the book does make a note that obviously the Dalai Lama and his team approved of this book, and so it has his stamp of approval, basically. So some people didn't love this. I absolutely did. I think it's one of the best books I've read in a good while. Gave this one a 5 out of 5. Personally, I feel like this is a must read. I was just fascinated all the way through, and you know, there's a couple points where Howard was kind of going off on his own things, and I was like, I genuinely don't care. But it's not as bad as a lot of the more mental health books that I've read, like The Body Keeps Score. Oh my god, there were tangents, it was really boring. This didn't have that too much. There's just a little bit, but really then we would get back to the Dalai Lama, and he was way more interesting to listen to. And reading from, you know, the different bits of interview from the Dalai Lama, his words of wisdom like supersede all religions, it feels like. He just looks at it from human being to human being, which is really how we're all supposed to look at it. And like, I feel like we forget that detail very often. When you look at any religion, especially as pagans, we often get, you know, knocked down for like looking at other cultures, but like also those cultures don't really specify in like the actual doctrines that it's just for this set of humans, that the rest of the humans can fuck off. That isn't really what happens. Pretty much any religion, it's supposed to apply to all people, and then we kind of stop doing that because human nature kicks in. And he really tries, the Dalai Lama really tries to emphasize, we are human beings, we are all part of the human family, and like, it's pretty universal. We all experience anger, we all experience like disappointment, we all experience needing to have more compassion, and that in general, that's kind of our main thing in life, is the pursuit of happiness, which is the basic premise of this book. Honestly, this is one of those books that I was just like, it took me days to get through because I just was like, I needed to just sit and ponder things. It was so good, and it's one that I want to go buy as soon as possible, because it's one of those, like, you know, obviously being pagans, we're not like, we don't have like the book, unless maybe you have a coven, but like for most of us, we're solitary, we're doing our own thing, we have dozens of books. And so this is one of those that, because it's really not tied down, even though obviously the Dalai Lama, he is a Buddhist and it's all about Buddhism, like, it's not really specific to that religion. It's very, like, easily touches all different walks of life, right? And it's one of those books I want to just have and leave it at the altar and just do some bibliomancy and pick up that book and just read a section. Because honestly, he's got so many good words of wisdom. I want to read more from the Dalai Lama. I don't know how much my library really has, but I'm gonna kind of look and see, because he's got a lot of good stuff. I want to look up some interviews and, you know, different things and speeches that he's given. The dude kind of has cracked the code, it feels like, for a lot of things, and I really like it. I really like it. So needless to say, I would recommend this to everyone, whether you are interested in Buddhism or paganism or anything else. I don't know why you would be on my channel, but hello, if you're into something else, like, everyone should just read through this at some point. Again, if the author, Howard, gets in your way, just kind of skim through his sections and just get on to where you're at with the Dalai Lama. And again, some people didn't love the way he was interviewing, but honestly, like, I don't think the Dalai Lama was that upset. Some people were like, oh, you could just hear him just sighing. And I'm like, no, these are questions genuinely a Western mind is going to be thinking of, and that was his purpose. I think it was done really well, and it really emphasized how the West looks at things compared to more Eastern beliefs. So anyways, I absolutely loved this. I would love to know your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. And if you have any recommendations of other books from the Dalai Lama, I would really love to know, or just resources in general, leave it in the comments. Of course, a huge thank you to my patrons. If you would like to support me and get access to exclusive content, such as additional book talks and just all of the things. I've got my audiobooks going up. I'm also still working through STOW, so all sorts of fun stuff's going on Patreon. And of course, if you want to check out my books, my latest one, I don't have a real version yet. We got the Banners of Awful going on over here, but my latest one just came out yesterday, so if you want to check it out, Turning the Wheel is linked down below. Till next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Blessed be.